If you're a student and you want to use AI in order to help you with your homework and your assignments, and watch this video, this is pretty important stuff. So there's a tweet here from Jonathan Birch over on X or Twitter talking about a teacher group that he's in where he saw this particular screenshot. So a teacher offered their students an amnesty if the students admitted to using ChatGPT on their assignments, and 23 out of 25, so nearly 100% of the students, raised their hand, sent in an email and said, "Sorry sir, I did use AI." And I'm really interested to know whether those two people who didn't send an email, whether they just did it manually and didn't use AI, or whether they used it and they were smart enough to know that if they didn't say anything, there's no way it could have been detected. The detection tools are still too inaccurate and they come up with too many false positives, so the teacher would have been bang out of luck basically if he relied only on the AI detection tools. Knowing this, the teacher's actually quite smart because he offered amnesty. He was able to detect who was using AI, and it turned out it was nearly everybody. This also suggests he didn't necessarily have a very strong anti-AI policy set up in the first place, and a lot of these requests here are basically saying, I found it confusing, I found the readings that were given were not helpful, or I found the assignment difficult in some way. So they were looking for help. They weren't necessarily looking to cheat. They were looking for ways to assist themselves. And there are even some people here saying that they used AI to look up synonyms, which, in my opinion, should be totally allowed. So this tweet is going viral because it's quite funny, just because how many of these kids were like, "Oh, sorry, yes sir, you caught me." So a lot of people are laughing at it from that point of view, but it does bring up some serious questions about academia and the future of schooling and how we are going to educate our young, because we have such powerful tools, AI tools, that adults are using, and we're using them in the workplace in order to become more productive, but we are expecting our students, the younger people, not to use them. There's a bit of a disconnect here, like we saw when the internet was introduced and there was this same tension about whether kids should be allowed to use the internet in their homework and for assignments. ChatGPT and AIs like that are just exacerbating that same problem. It brings up the question of, why do we teach kids in a certain way? Why do we get them to memorize a whole load of information just so they can spew it out in an exam later on, when that's not necessarily the skill they're going to be needing in the workplace or for the rest of their lives? Instead, should we be looking at integrating AI into our curriculums, because that's going to be a skill that the kids actually need once they leave school? This is a much larger question, and unfortunately academia moves very, very, very slowly. It is an inherently quite conservative area of society, and they're never going to be able to keep up with the pace of progress in AI. I don't know what the fix is for this. There are much smarter people than me who are looking at this problem, but I think that we shouldn't just look at this and laugh. We should be thinking, is there a real issue here? Why are these kids using this, and why is this a problem? Does it need to be, or should we be teaching them to use AI in order to create better work? And should we be looking at how we can overhaul academia and education as a whole?